Hello and welcome back to Newsmin. It's the 16th of January 2013 and right now it's time for a quick general gaming news update. In this episode, we're having a brief look at a couple of the bigger pieces of news from the past week or so to get us all up to date and ready for, well, more news. We'll be looking at Diablo 3 patch 1.0.7 that's currently being tested on the PTR, ArenaNet's big plans for Guild Wars 2 in 2013, the big reveals of last week's CES and a whole lot more, starting with Diablo. Diablo 3 patch 1.0.7 is now live on the PTR, and with it came Blizzard's first iteration of PvP in Diablo 3, Dueling, amongst a whole lot of other changes, fixes, and additions that aren't nearly as important or almost as interesting as the prospect of finally being able to do glorious player versus player battle in Diablo 3. To duel another player, all you need to do is speak to Neck the Brawler at the inn in New Tristram, and he'll transport you and your party to the Scorched Chapel, a new zone designed specifically for dueling. The zone has 4 different areas in the form of the church, the graveyard, the river, and the lake, and dueling currently supports up to 4 players in a free-for-all format, which means you can do battle with your friends either one-on-one, 3-player FFA, or a full 4-player FFA. While it does sound like a lot of fun, I will probably be waiting for this to hit the live servers before I try it out myself. There were, as I mentioned, other changes in 1.0.7 that may or may not interest you. You can read all about them below. Now let's have a talk about Guild Wars 2. Firstly, the game has sold over 3 million copies through 2012, which is rather impressive. Then in a new blog post and video, Colin Johansson of ArenaNet has outlined some of the big plans in the works for the year ahead in Guild Wars 2. We're told to expect new events, more epic storylines, an overhauled achievement and daily achievement system that's set to actually reward players for doing achievements with currency spendable on in-game goodies, huge improvements to World vs. World and PvP, and what is perhaps the biggest highlight for me, guild improvements. New types of guild-centric content will be added sometime early in 2013 that'll allow members to go on missions together, I assume without the constant hassles of phasing, overflows, and everything else that keeps cropping up and making things unfun. And these systems will be expanded with new rewards, missions, and tools to make guilds and the guild system actually feel worth it. We'll also be seeing improvements to the Looking for Group system, improvements and fixes to the Fractals of the Mists dungeon, and much more in the coming months. Sounds great, and these are indeed some ambitious plans. I would say I'm probably just the most keen to see what they have in store for us for the big January, February, and March updates for the game. Read more about all of this below, watch the video right here on YouTube, and enjoy. Our next piece of news is just a quick recap of the slightly larger announcements from last week's CES. Everyone's favorite of the show was the Razer Edge, which is a tablet, a PC, a home console, a mobile console, and it has some seriously good stats. It truly is impressive. Then we have the Android-powered Nvidia Shield. The Shield allows you to remotely access your GeForce GTX-powered computer, play your favorite PC games, including all your Steam goodies, on a full-sized gaming controller with ultra-low latency. That, and it can obviously also play games on its own with the world's fastest mobile processor. Looks decent. Lastly, for the big stuff, a couple of Steambox prototypes were shown off at CES, which all looked pretty good, but sadly none were the real deal. None were officially Valve affiliated. We're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for that. Now with that done, let's have a look at the smalls. The 4th set of Steam Greenlight titles have been revealed. BioShock Infinite's PC specs were announced. Disney unveiled their take on Skylanders, and it's called Infinity. Give the Cyberpunk 2077 teaser a watch, check out a behind the scenes of said teaser, and watch an exclusive interview with Mike Pondsmith about the game. Final Fantasy All the Bravest is coming to iOS today. Grinding Gear Games have released a Path of Exile open beta trailer. It's really impressive and you really should give it a watch. Funcom has released an Age of Conan Secret of Dragon Spine trailer. There's a new Metal Gear Rising Revengeance trailer, and we've been told that the demo is coming on January the 22nd. Dead Island Riptide Zombie Bait Edition was announced, and then following that, Deep Silver apologized for the gruesome statue included in the Zombie Bait Edition. You're gonna have to check that out below to see it for yourselves. There are some more Pokemon X and Y art and screenshots to have a look at. StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty patch 1.5.4 is now live. Husky has a video up showing the new Heart of the Swarm dancers off. The World of Warcraft Cinder Kitten raised more than $2.3 million for charity. And lastly, have a look at a whole bunch of Diablo 3 Collector's Edition packaging possibilities that could have been. That's it for this episode. Check back here soon for more. Subscribe if you haven't already, like the video and do all that other good stuff, and most importantly, happy dueling in Diablo 3. Happy that.